Good afternoon. My name is Shane Skinner, and I would like to talk to you about fantasy football. I've been the commissioner of my league for 11 seasons now, and I've won 2 Super Bowl championships and several division titles. Through the years, I have studied the experts' advice thoroughly and managed dozens of my own teams, and I have learned that the best way to draft a team that can contend for a championship is to effectively pre-rank the players into tiers prior to the draft. Now you might be saying, hey Shane, that's crazy. I can go buy a magazine for $7 and it has the rankings in it for me. Or even better yet, I can go online to websites such as ESPN.com and print off cheat sheets like this that rank the players in order for me. And that's true. You can do that. And that's actually a good point to start with. However, everybody else in your league is printing out the same cheat sheets. You got to set yourself ahead of the group if you want to contend for a championship. There are several things to consider when you're pre-ranking your players. First, you want to look at last year's performance. Next, you want to look at any changes that may have happened in the offseason. Are they on a new team? Do they have a new coach? Or possibly a new offensive coordinator? All these things can change the number of points you expect from that player this coming season. Also, take a look and see if there's any injury risk involved. If the player was hurt last year, there's always a chance of re-aggravating an injury. You also want to review your league scoring system, make sure there weren't any changes, and also see what positions that the scoring system might favor in your league. Take all this information together, and that's going to help you determine each player's expected performance for the season. So that's where you can kind of adjust the experts' rankings to better fit your league's scoring system and your expectations for each player. Now what I mean by tiers is you want to group similar players into tiers based on what you expect their performance outcomes to be. So tier 1 is going to be your top echelon of players. You expect all those players in tier 1 to perform similarly. Same thing with tier 2. They're dropped down from the players in tier 1. But you expect each of those players in tier 2 to have a similar results. Tier 3 and so on. You can have as many tiers as you need based on how many drop-offs you see in the level of performance in each of the positions. So you're going to have a tier 1 for quarterbacks, tier 2, tier 3. Same thing with running backs, receivers, all the positions. I have a tier 1, tier 2, etc. This will help you throughout your draft if you're trying to determine between taking this quarterback or this running back. If your quarterback's a tier 2, your running back's a tier 3, it makes your choice a heck of a lot easier. You go with a tier 2 quarterback. Another tip I had that will help you out with your draft is to perform a couple mock drafts. It's a great way to kind of be able to analyze how you drafted, see where your players ended up, see what surprises you as far as what players were taken earlier than you expected or who maybe lasted longer than you expected. And you can kind of adjust your criteria and your expectations based on the mock drafts. I know this may seem like a lot of work, especially for fantasy football, but as with most things in life, the more effort you invest in your fantasy football team, the better your results should be. If you take the time to pre-rank your players and enter the draft with a solid game plan, you could be well on your way to the championship and taking home the trophy.